All right, surprise talk down listeners. We decided to have a little catch up talk down because it's been a while, and wanted to check in with Adam and see what he's up to, and I wanted to tell him what I'm up to and tell you guys what I'm up to, and it's like, well, why not just see what rather than post an ad? Why don't I just like see what Adam's been up to?
Clearly, we've both been busy just squeezing out more beard.
More beard, yeah, the
Yeah, it's
beard.
just
I need to
it's
trim
been
it.
it's been filling in. Yeah.
Wait,
Uh
why do I have my Chest Trends Gateway background up?
just some
All right,
cross promotion.
yeah. uh, so you went to my hometown and did comedy in my hometown. How'd that
Yes.
go? North Bend,
Coos
Coos
Bay,
Bay.
Oregon. Yeah. It was fun. It was a fundraiser for the Ronald McDonald House charity. And there's
Hmm.
this comic, Alex Elkin, who booked it. And another good comic, shoot, I'm blank on his name now. Joe, shoot. I'm
Hmm.
just blanking on his last name right now. But yeah, there's a great lineup. It was this old theater, the Egyptian Theater in Coos Bay. Have you ever been
Yeah,
there?
I did an
It's
X Cop event there one time where I showed a bunch of episodes and like it's like a yeah, it's cool, right?
it's cool because it's in this like coastal Oregon town,
Yeah,
but it's
out of
all
nowhere.
Egyptian and
Yeah,
hieroglyphics, and it's like an old classic kind of movie theater, but like a big stage. It's really
like
cool inside.
I went there as a little kid and like
Uh huh.
there's like cages on the wall and it's dark inside the cages and you can see like a hand
Yeah.
holding the bar. Like it's just the hand of the pharaoh dude, or it's like a maybe it's a harp or something, but like the thing behind those bars is just darkness and like that.
Yeah.
As a little kid, that I'd always kind of feel like something was looking at me through those bars.
Yeah, the shows were good though. Although
Huh.
during my set at one point they had a great crowd there, and then at one point during my set I make a joke about Renaissance fairs, and I have this joke where I say I say I don't think the people at the Renaissance fair have any idea when the Renaissance actually took place. Judging by their costumes, it was everything from the Bible to the Civil War, plus Star Wars and transvestites. And when I said, as soon as I said the word transvestite, someone up in the balcony goes, "That's transphobic! We don't want your transphobia here." And
Oh
they made
boy!
a big scene, and I had to like, I
Wow, in
managed it. I
Coos
got
Bay.
them. Yeah, I got them back under
Wow,
control. I was like, all right, we'll get through it because I have like follow up jokes to it. But what was
wow.
weird about it, it was clear the crowd was great. They had a good time. And it seemed
Hmm.
like a lot of the crowd was more conservative leaning in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was like with the immediacy that the person reacted, it felt like they were sitting there the whole
Waiting
show,
for the
waiting
moment.
for
Yeah,
someone to say a word that they could get offended by and yell something about.
and I'm really curious to. I'm sure I knew people in the audience. I told a bunch of people to go, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
Coos
it
Bay is
was
an interesting mix. It's a mix of
uh-huh.
like people that are really into drugs and
Yeah.
people that are really into like hunting and fishing. So it's like you get both best of both worlds.
That is the best of both worlds. Fishing people and people who are into drugs.
Yeah, you get some people to do both, and they're
Yeah.
fine.
But the whole drive
But
down there from Portland is beautiful. The along the
yeah,
coast with all the like cliffs and lighthouses, and it was really
that's the
pretty.
drive where I hit a cougar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see any cougars, and that's why you've driven them to near extinction.
Yeah, it's that drive. I love driving all the California up to there. It's like it's
Yeah,
brutal.
I've done
It's
that
fun.
drive years ago from I think from Seattle all the way down to at least San Francisco, and then at a different point I did from San Francisco to LA. But it's so pretty doing that whole coast drive.
It's cool. So
Um,
you heard me and Eric got canned. Well, the entire kids division at Daily Wire got totally canned.
how did that happen? I was sure Jeremy Boring was managing the entertainment department well.
Yeah, I thought everything was perfect. What could go wrong? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone was getting paid really well. We weren't making a whole lot
Everybody
of
in
stuff.
conservative media was trying to model themselves after the Daily Wire Jeremy Boring model because it was working so well. What could go
We've
wrong?
switched roles here, where I now have the non disparagement clause that I've signed, and you
Uh-huh.
haven't. So it used to be the other way around with
No,
the Babylon
I'll
B.
disparage.
So now you can say, and
Yeah.
I'll say it was a good job. They paid me well. I don't know what went
Uh-huh.
wrong. I mean, we had making amazing content, and uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But yeah, but
enjoyed all that.
you guys are working on a new project now?
Well, me and Eric decided like I've been having this fantasy for pretty much the whole time I've been at Daily Wire and partially at Babylon B, uh, about starting my own company, and then I'm kind of playing like what would I do, how would I do it, uh, and I kind of boiled it down to this idea of making a book, where I because one thing I've noticed in conservatism is you have all these there's all these like kind of like wink you kind of wink and nudge at people like, hey, there's a really cool artist here that's actually pretty conservative or whatever. Like you
Yeah,
don't there's no brand unless you go to like Daily Wire or something like that. But there's no just like brand where it's just like entertaining, and it's not so much that I don't want a brand that says rightwingcomics.com or whatever, like
yeah.
or if it's comics, but I mean like in for cartoons or artists or independent comics or authors and things like that. So and just like the annoying process that is pitching to studios and how muddled up that's all become and actually getting anything made so hard. So anyway, we put it all on a Kickstarter. So me and Eric are doing a Kickstarter, and we got all kinds of people joining in. Doug Knapel is going to be part of this book we're making. It's made for kids, but it's a book we're all having a blast making it. I think it's not
And
a
Doug is the creator of Earthworm Jim, correct?
Doug is Earthworm Jim guy.
That's
We got Mike
awesome. That's very
Mike
cool.
Nelson. Randomly got Jack Handy on board.
I saw that name on the list. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I've known people that have worked with Jack Handy, but I've never met him. How did you guys get in touch with him?
So Eric, who's my Eric and me, we go way back. We did we wrote a ton of Veggie Tales episodes back on in the days on at DreamWorks together with Doug. He was the showrunner. We worked at the Babylon Bee. You know Eric from that. He wrote
Yeah,
almost all the
I
sketches
met
we did
Eric.
there.
Yeah.
Did a lot of directing, and he was the alien in those sketches and stuff like that. A lot of voices on the animated shorts that he also wrote. And then so he's really behind the scenes. And then once Daily Wire hired him, he kind of came out a little more. And we created Chip Chilla together and worked on a bunch of stuff at Daily Wire. So anyway, so we've done so much together that I can't remember what I was answering. We were making this book together. Was I
I asked
answering
how you
something
got in
about
touch
Eric?
with Jack Handy.
That's right. So Eric.
I don't care about how you know Eric, whatever, but how
Yeah,
did
I
you
was just
meet Jack
getting to the.
Handy?
I am only figure that people that hear this don't know about Eric that are listening. The Eric had written for this thing called the American Bystander, which is like a comedy magazine. A bunch of different
Oh,
comedians
okay.
contribute to it, and I guess Jack Handy had
Hmm.
contributed to it, and he had contributed and gotten some stuff in there. So I think on a whim, he had emailed Jack Handy and said, "Hey, cool, we're in the same magazine. Like you ever done that? Like, oh, we're
Yeah.
on the same show or something with a comedian you like or something." Thinking maybe they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're colleagues now." But I guess it worked. He
Uh-huh.
emailed them back, and they just a little bit of a kind of a light pen pal relationship over the years, and Eric told him about the book and said, "Hey, I want to, because everybody who's contributing to it is contributing free until we can make money on it. So it's purely just like a labor of love until we can make it work." So anyway, this is I wanted to get the word out to anybody listening to the talk down or sneak it onto the YouTube channel because I want everybody to know about it. But
It sounds really cool. Yeah, you guys have such a good lineup of people contributing to it. And I saw some of the artwork Eric posted from it looked cool.
yeah, you can look on the Kickstarter because the hard thing about it is we're pitching a book of stuff that's going to have so much crazy stuff in it. And
Uh-huh.
really, if you don't know the creators, then you're gonna be like, well, I don't know those guys or whatever. But so I did put a 32-page preview up on the Kickstarter. You can check it out, and we have a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's packed. And the whole
The
idea is
thing
that
I always love when I'm considering whether or not to support a Kickstarter, I always wish there was 32 pages of stuff to read.
yeah. Well, no, it's just pretty pictures to look at. There's you
That's
don't have to read
good.
it. You'll flip through it really fast, be like, oh yeah, this is great.
Nice,
I want
nice.
more. Got to get it. So, didn't you say you had some other story or something that's happened to you since we last
Oh,
talked?
so I've been so the other stuff I've been doing since we last talked down was I've been doing a lot of stand up on cruise ships, which is always hit or miss. The travel is fun. The audiences are very odd. Oh, I did a cruise
Yeah.
ship gig recently. It was in Alaska, and it was I did two welcome night shows that were like clean, and then there's like a late night adult show. And it's always weird for me doing the adult
Hmm.
shows because I'm not really a dirty comedian in the first place, and they still want you to avoid like controversial stuff. Like, so you could be like vulgar and sexual,
Right,
they
right.
still don't want you saying anything, even if it's clean, that's like controversial or edgy in any way.
That's
So,
hilarious.
but yeah, but I did those shows and they went great. Like I had a really good time. And then the last day of the shit on the cruise, I got a an email from the entertainment director, and it said, "Can you give me a call?" So I called, and she goes, "We received several complaints about your material." And I go,
Wow.
"Oh,"
At the
I go,
adult show?
"Okay." Oh, well, I didn't know. So I go,
Oh,
"Oh, you did?" And she goes, "Yes, uh and I said, "At which shows did people complain?" And she said, "At the two clean shows." And I said, "Oh, what was there a specific joke that someone or no, she said at the clean show and then at the adult show, because those are both the first night.
hmm.
And this was for people that were leaving the ship that had been on for the week before. And
Hmm.
I was like racking my brain because it's like I have some kind of political stuff in parts of it. And I was like, was there a specific joke? And she goes, yes, there's one specific joke. And this was a throwaway line at the beginning that I did when I walked out on stage. I just riffed a little bit about the cruise ship and about their trip. And I said, you guys got to visit Alaska and Canada. So you saw the 49th state and a little bit of the 51st. And that was what multiple
That was
people
it?
complained was offensive, was calling
Wow.
Canada the 51st state as like a throwaway line at the
Were they
beginning of my
Canadian?
set. Some of them were. But
Oh,
it's
that could
weird
be
because
it.
like,
They're
yeah, but
touchy
I
right
mean,
now.
yeah, but I prefer, but that don't defend them. That's
Oh,
the
no, I'm not
most
defending.
of all
I'm
the
just saying
stuff
that
I've heard. Like,
I'm not
but I
defending. I'm just saying
performed in
that.
Canada before. Like Canadians are they have some of the funniest comedians and some of the best
Right.
audiences up there. Um, but no, it's the left. It's not comedians. It's people on the
Right.
left, whether they're American or Canadian. They look for anything to be like, oh, I didn't like that. I'm going to complain about
Right.
it.
Right.
It's like, just
I'm
don't
just saying there
come
is
to a
like
comedy show.
a left-leaning Canadian is especially raw
Yeah.
right now, right? Like
Yeah,
over
exactly.
anything hinting. They're
Yeah.
booing they're booing the national anthem, all that kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah. But then I've been looking for, I've been doing some freelance writing gigs too. I've been working more with Yakov Smirnoff. I toured
hmm.
on a few dates with him, and he's actually doing the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon next week on June 10th. He's doing
Wow.
stand up on there. It's like his return to the Tonight Show after 40 years. So that's going to be really cool.
Hmm.
But I've been looking for these like freelance writing gigs, and I got this gig. I'm trying to keep this story a little concise, but it goes all over the
Okay.
place.
All right.
There,
I'm ready.
a friend of mine that I wrote with at Ellen, he got an email from this guy who's a producer in Brooklyn that he knows. And he said, hey, there's this millionaire I know who lives in Florida, and he wants to start a podcast that involves sketch comedy. And he's looking for
And
writers
it's
to help him
and
out
it's
with
not
this.
and it's not Seth Dillon.
No, it's not Seth Dillon.
He's a
No,
millionaire in Florida.
that is true. Yeah. But this producer, then he set up a Zoom interview with me and this other writer that I know. And he didn't give us much more information. He said this guy, he gave us all this like weird background information about this guy that he sold a business years ago, and he's a millionaire now, and he's done these weird adventures. Like he went to Guatemala to bust a cult, and after Biden's pullout from Afghanistan, he like chartered private planes to help evacuate people. So he's done
Hmm.
interesting things, and he said he wants to start a podcast where he kind of gives his point of view on things and talks about these experiences he has. And then after the Zoom interview, we get an email like 2 hours later, and it says, "Can you guys come down here tomorrow to
Oh
Florida?"
boy.
And so we're like, if you're paying us and the flights and hotel are covered, so
It's
we
a
get on a flight
That's like the
and we
total rich people thing, like a rich guy
yeah,
flex. Like
but
Jeremy
we
Boring
fly to
did that to us.
Florida.
Like,
Yeah,
sorry, I'm just like I've had that happen a few
no,
times
go
in my
ahead.
life, and it's always like a rich guy is just like they just like to casually say like, "Why don't you just meet me tomorrow?" They know that you're in like half of the country away, and they just
Yeah,
casually say it like,
exactly.
"Yeah, like that's the world I live in. You want to join in?" Yeah.
Yeah. So then we fly down there, and I emailed the guys along the way. I'm like, hey, is there anything sketch comedy wise or ideas or directions we should be brainstorming? And the producer emails back, is nah, we'll just feel it out and see where it goes. So we stay overnight at this hotel, get up the next morning, and we drove into this like really rich neighborhood in Florida. And we pull up in front of this house that has a gate in front of it, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's all these like house workers that come out, and one of them opens the gate for us, and it's like a half mansion, half castle on a lake. And we walk inside, and it's this Orthodox Jewish businessman. So is the producer, and there's like Jewish texts all over the place, and
Hmm.
there's a big framed picture of a rabbi on the wall, and he's got this beautiful like fish tank full of tropical fish. And he sits us down to talk about. We sit down and we think we're going to talk about the podcast and the sketches, and he just starts telling us his life story, which is mostly about how taking mushrooms made him rediscover his belief in God. And then at one point, my friend asked him, or then he tells us how he snuck into John Gotti's funeral by pretending to be a Jewish mobster. And he told us more about this cult he busted in Guatemala and how he started to fall for the cult leader's stuff. And then his friend had to pull him out of it. And then my friend, he goes, so tell me about you. And my friend,
he got like charmed by the cult leader.
this took like an hour of the conversation. Then he asked my friend about how he's doing it, and my friend's like, well, I live in LA. I just had a new baby. And he goes, it's nice because I'm kind of the creative one in the family, and my wife handles all the finances and stuff. And the guy goes, oh. And he goes, you don't get offended easily, do you? And my friend goes, no, why? And then he goes, because I don't think that's good for your marriage. And then he talks to us an hour about how the man should be handling the finances in the relationship, and this is a bad dynamic for marriage. And he discusses this for an hour. Then he goes, oh, it's time for lunch. And he has his chef prepare us a 4-course meal, like beautiful, amazing food. And his brother shows up, and we asked like his brother, like he introduced himself, like, what do you do? And he goes, have you heard in Aurora, Colorado, where there's that apartment complex that got taken over by Tren de Aragua members because the Biden administration wouldn't deport them? He goes, I'm the landlord. That's my apartment building.
Wow.
Then he's telling us all these stories.
Just a quick fun fact.
Yeah.
I lived in a trailer park in Aurora, Colorado as a child.
Did you really? Was there Tren de Aragua members there?
No, this
when
is
you were there?
Pre-Tren de Aragua. I remember there's a bully there that liked to killed all I would find toads, and he would take them from me and murder them in front of me.
Oh man, like frog baseball, like the old Beavis and Butthead.
My dad would like grill, and then he'd open up the grill and find that the kid had put toads on the grill. We had those warty toads, they'd be like burnt up toads. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack.
No, but anyway, after lunch, then this guy, he tells us more just about his personal life and his adventures. At one point, one of the other guys, because they were all Jewish, and I'm Christian, and at one point he goes, oh, Adam was telling us on the drive over that he's Christian. He goes, oh, you don't get offended easily, do you? And I go, no. And I go, why? He goes, because I have big problems with Christianity. So then we discussed Judaism and Christianity for an hour. And then the producer's like, oh, we have to discuss the sketches. And he goes, no, there's this video I want to show you. So he shows us this video that he made that was not really related to the podcast or the sketches at all. Then he goes, we have to discuss the sketches. And the producer's like, we have to get to the airport because we only came for a day. And he goes, oh, we have to have dinner. So we go back into the kitchen, and the chef has made us another 4-course meal. And it's like beautiful, amazing food. And then we rush to the airport and fly back. And not once did we discuss a sketch or a podcast or writing anything.
What the heck? Did you get a feel
for
it?
We got paid for it. We got a trip. And yeah, it was interesting. And he was a fascinating guy. But it was just this wild 24 hours of a writing gig that no writing got done.
So weird.
Yeah.
Has it led to anything from there?
No, we kind of left the door open. If he wants to go forward with the podcast, we'd write scripts for him and still try to do something with it. And there's been a few other like little freelance writing gigs here and there that I've been doing, but that was the one that was just a wild 24-hour crazy trip.
Wow. It's wild. Reminds me of he sounds like I forget his name, the My Pillow guy. Remember when we interviewed him?
Mike Lindell.
Yeah. Just like he's one of those guys that kind of shoots off in all these like weird stories, and just like he likes talking about himself. That was an experience interviewing him.
Yeah, and then besides that, I'm still doing canceled news. So if any of our viewers aren't subscribed to that, check that out on my YouTube channel. And then I know you've started the Chesterton's Gateway channel.
Yes, the Chesterton's Gateway podcast. Anybody who wants to do some Chesterton, we're going essay by essay with Michael Grumbine, the super smart. He's the super smart one. I'm the super dumb one, and we just go through and essay by essay do some Chesterton. Actually, nice. You don't even have to have read the essay because I know you hate the letters A and I together.
Yeah,
But
I strongly disapprove of any use of AI.
oh, I do
It's a
feel
good
like this is.
it's a
I
good
feel like this
podcast
is,
otherwise.
but I feel like this is a good use of it because
They all
there's no
say
way you
that.
could. There's no way you could get someone. We used AI to bring back Chesterton's voice. Basically, there's like
Uh-huh.
one clip. There's just like one clip of him on YouTube. So in order, rather
Uh-huh.
than me or Michael reading it out loud, which would be kind of lame, we just have AI Chesterton reading it to us. So I like it. It works.
Cool.
And then we also do a Chesterton theme song, a different one in a different genre every week. In AI.
But I remember when Michael was on the Talk Down, he was a great guest. He was a
Yeah,
really
he's
smart,
awesome.
fun guy.
I think he's super humble and doesn't. I don't think he realizes how smart he is, but I think he's got the memory and the quickness of like the kind of guy who could. I think he could like be like a kind of like a Daily Wire host or something. I think he's at the level of
Mm-hmm.
those guys. He's really brilliant.
Nice.
He's working on some books about history stuff, like the Crusades and stuff. He's like
Oh
such a
wow.
history nut, you know. But so
Oh,
yeah.
and I did stand up in Branson a couple of weeks ago, and Austin Robertson came out
Oh,
to
nice.
the
Like
show. So
the
I got to
voice
see him. He lives just outside of Branson, but it was really cool. He came to one of the shows, and I got to catch up with him a little bit.
the voice of the Talk Down and the Babylon
The
Bee.
voice of the Talk Down, and many Babylon Bee sketches. Yeah.
Yeah, and many animated. He was Guy from our new little animated news show. He played Guy. What's his name? Crap, I forgot his name. Guy something.
Hmm. He has like a perfect voice for voiceover work. It's
Yeah, he does.
his,
Yeah,
his natural voice is good, and he's versatile.
and he's like the kindest person you'll ever meet. Like the
He
most
is. He's a
humble.
really good guy.
Yeah. So
He's
you
got to
didn't
be
meet
hiding
anybody
something.
when you're in Coos Bay. There wasn't one person who was like, "Hey, I know Ethan." Where
I don't think so. No, I
wow,
waited afterwards, and I shook hands with a lot of people. There was a good crowd turnout. There may have been people there. I'm trying to think because I met a lot of people
yeah, I told
that
a bunch of
night.
people to go, but I don't know
Um,
if people listen to me.
I don't know if there were. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm sure some of them came out. Yeah, like I said, it was a big
Would you
crowd.
did you eat anywhere?
In Coos Bay, there was a little bar down the street from the theater. I'm trying to think what it was called. It was like a little dive bar, and it was like the one place that had late night food. So it's where everyone in town went afterwards.
Was it on the corner, like across from the sushi place?
It was kind of next to a car dealership. I forget. I'm blanking on the
Oh,
name of
that's
it, what it
further
was
up.
called, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man.
But they had good food. I had an elk burger there. The elk burger was
No.
good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where that would have been, but yeah, because there's not a lot of stuff open late in Coos Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my childhood. That's like from around age 8 until my mid 20s. The whole area. I lived like different areas around there, but I lived kind of. It's just like I have so many memories there. It's crazy. We just went back. It's funny. We were back there like about a week before you went.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is a nice area to go back up there again. And
Mm-hmm.
there's I don't know if they do comedy shows at that theater regularly because this was like a fundraiser.
This
But
is the
there was
first
like
I'd heard of it.
Yeah, there was a casino along the coast on the way back up, and they had comedy nights there. And then I've done some
the
stuff.
mill.
Yeah, that's right. And I've done some stuff in like Eugene and Bend and Portland before, but Oregon is it's a beautiful place. It's just weird politics.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like California. A large portion of it is not super left leaning. It's just the concentrated areas.
As soon as you get out of the big cities, they're normal folks again. When I was in Portland, it's crazy how much of the gender stuff you see there. Like in LA, you see it a little bit, but in Portland, it's like every store, every coffee shop, walking down the street, it's just there's 9 different genders around you at any moment.
Yeah, Portland is its own. Like I think they said it best on Portlandia when I remember they described Portland like it's a place like where the 90s happened and never ended or something. You know, the way that they describe Portland is perfect. Yeah, but yeah, I lived there for a bit, and it is a different world. And they think they are the future or the whatever, the right. They very, very convinced they're correct about everything. It's wild.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's good to
catch up with you. It's good to catch up, and I'm glad we have the same great chemistry.
Oh yeah, nonstop. Yeah, perfect chemistry. Especially, on the delay of a bad connection over the internet.
Yes, exactly.
I hate interviewing over the internet. But
Well, that's what I mean. That was one of the things that was really fun about the talk down was doing it in person. I
yeah,
always feel that way too, because during the pandemic when the whole Zoom thing started, I would do some interviews that way. And there's just something so much better about talking to people in person. But we
it's
couldn't schedule it
unnatural.
tonight, but it is always fun to be there in person.
Yeah, it's like there's something just off. Like you're not quite looking each other in the eyes. You're looking
Yeah.
at a picture of you looking
You're
at a
looking
picture of
either at the camera or at the
yeah,
picture or somewhere else
and
on the
then
computer screen. And the
and you're
lighting
not
is
quite
never quite right. I'm always a
the
little bit
lighting's
like,
weird,
"Oh," it's always a little off.
and then pixelated face, and then
Yeah.
you're not quite reacting to when I finish Tyler's a weird thing. Yeah, it's unnatural. Like
Yeah.
communicating from the afterlife or something. Or I don't know what it is, but it's off.
Yeah. The
But
only use of AI, this just popped in my head because this is our new talk down video, which we haven't posted in a while. The only
yeah.
use of AI I will ever approve is the Tardigrade and the Tramp. That's it's the only AI
Well,
creation
then
I will
you sir
ever
are a hypocrite.
appreciate. I said that before and after. I said that's the only thing I'll
Yeah,
ever love.
you're right. Of the idea of you going before Congress to try to pass laws for AI. And
Yeah, I'll get everything banned except
what are the
that.
guidelines when you bring up
I
except for
go,
in Form
I'd
9C,
like I'd like a carve around for this one video
one carve out.
that
Yeah,
has 200 views.
it's pretty good. 200 views. Wow.
I think something like that. I don't know what it is offhand, but yeah.
Yeah, starting getting Tramp. All right, it was good to see you.
All right, man. Yeah, good catching up, and we got to meet up in person again sometime soon.
Oh yeah, and if you guys, I didn't even say the name of my Kickstarter. It's This Book Might Explode. Is the name of it, and I'll put it in the show notes. And it's on Kickstarter. Thisbookmightexplode.com. Whatever, you'll find it.
Yeah,
And go
and
see Adam
Chesterton's
live.
Gateway, and yeah, check
Chesterton's
out
Gateway,
AdamYunser.com and my YouTube channel, Adam Yunser, for canceled news.
Perfect.
Awesome,
All right.
man.
Comment, and we want to hear from you guys.
Yes.
We
Please
love
like
you.
and subscribe. Maybe in 6 months we'll do another video.
Yeah, Luke Salazar, give us the update.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
They're pretty adamant that he did now, right? Now it's like they're all like, we have video. We've seen video.
So, yeah, Kash Patel is saying that there's video, and what's his name, Dan Bongino or whoever is the.
Oh, I thought his name was Oingo Boingo.
Yeah, I think he's a cover band.
Something like that. Yeah.
But here's what I've always left open. I think it's very possible that Epstein physically took his own life, but I think he was given the circumstances to let that happen. I think guards were sent away, cameras were turned off, evidence was destroyed. I think he was, if he did kill himself, which may be factually true, I think there's still a conspiracy around it where he was left to die so that he would never be put on trial and face any punishment or reveal names.
So it'd be like if Kermit the Frog killed himself, we'd all know it was really Jim Henson that killed him.
I don't completely follow that analogy, but sure.
It's the puppet masters that are behind it.
Yeah. And they don't talk about John McAfee at all anymore. That's the other one that
goes
for reminds us didn't kill himself.
I guess the difference on that is that literally everything Kermit the Frog does is Jim Henson's fault, not just when he was alive. Jim Henson didn't kill himself, but he is dead.
Jim Henson didn't.
Sorry, I went down a Muppet hole.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that,
all right, man.
All right. Good to see you. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna end the recording.